Welcome to my channel English Achievement. If you like my video, please like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hi everyone, welcome to English Achievement. Today's video is going to reveal something most people never talk about: the hidden power of reverse psychology. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the things you chase the hardest are the things that run away from you? You chase people and they ignore you. You chase approval and you get rejected. You chase success and it feels farther. But the moment you step back, something magical happens. The person calls you. The opportunity knocks, respect increases, and life begins to align itself. Why does this happen? Because the world does not move in a straight line. Human behavior is not simple. People think they want one thing, but their actions often show something else. Life often gives you what you deserve, not what you beg for. And the power behind this is called reverse psychology. Most people never learn this skill. They think success is about pushing harder. But the truth is deeper. Sometimes the smartest way to move forward is to step back. Sometimes the fastest way to win is to let go. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is appear unbothered. Today you will learn 11 laws of reverse psychology that will not only help you understand people but also help you understand yourself. These laws will help you stay calm, powerful, and in control. They are simple to follow but life-changing, especially if you apply them every day. So stay with me until the end, because the last law may change the way you handle every relationship in your life. Let's begin. Law 1: the less you need, the more powerful you become. Neediness is one of the fastest ways to lose control in any relationship, workplace, or social situation. When people sense that you need them too much, need their approval, their attention, their presence, or their validation, they start to feel more powerful than you. It is not because they are bad people. It is simply how human psychology works. Neediness shifts the balance. The person who needs less becomes the one who holds the power, and the one who needs more slowly loses influence without realizing it. When you show someone that your happiness depends on them, they automatically pull back. They give less while you try harder. They respond less while you ask more. The connection becomes uneven and your energy starts to feel heavy instead of attractive. Think about your own life. When someone calls you 10 times a day, you start feeling annoyed. But when they stop calling, you feel curious. When someone texts you constantly, you stop caring. But when they suddenly become quiet, you start wondering about them. This shift is not rudeness. It is the natural human tendency to value things that feel rare. People appreciate what is limited. People ignore what is always available. When your time and attention are too easy to get, others don't feel the need to put in effort. They don't see your value clearly because they have never had to work for it. This dynamic shows up everywhere in romantic relationships, friendships, families, workplaces, and even social media. When you are always ready, always answering, always trying, people feel too comfortable. They stop trying to impress you. They stop appreciating your presence. But the moment you step back and show that your life is full, meaningful, and not centered around anyone else, their attitude changes. They start noticing you again. They rethink their behavior. They treat you with more respect because you finally treated yourself with respect. This does not mean you should act cold, rude, or distant. It simply means you should not depend on anyone emotionally. You must build a life where you are your own source of confidence, peace, and meaning. When you don't need people, you connect from strength, not fear. You speak clearly, not desperately. You love openly but not blindly. You give but you don't overgive. You care but you don't cling. The mindset is simple. I prefer you but I don't need you. I care about you but I don't depend on you. I am here but I am not desperate. Once you live like this, people naturally value you more. They fear losing you. They respect your presence. They try harder to be part of your life because the less you need from others, the more powerful, confident, and attractive you become. Law 2. Silence is louder than words. Most people speak far more than they need to. They explain every detail of their life. They defend every decision. They justify every emotion or mistake even when no one asked. They talk because they fear judgment, fear misunderstanding, or fear losing control. But in the world of reverse psychology, too many words weaken you. Silence, on the other hand, strengthens you. Silence creates a kind of mystery that words can never create. Silence makes people wonder about you, think about you, and pay closer attention to you. When you speak less, your presence becomes more powerful. You become someone that others study, not someone they take lightly. Think about any argument you have seen. When two people shout at each other, both lose power. Their emotions take over. Their words become messy and meaningless. But the moment one person chooses silence, the whole situation changes. The energy shifts. The quiet person becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability always creates power. Silence forces the other person to slow down, reflect, and even doubt themselves. They start wondering what you are thinking, what you are planning, and why you are not reacting. This creates a psychological advantage that talking can never achieve. Silence is especially powerful when someone tries to manipulate or disrespect you. When people expect you to explode and you don't, they lose their control. When people try to provoke you and you stay silent, they become confused. Silence breaks patterns. It ends arguments before they start. It teaches people that you are not emotionally controlled by them. It shows that you do not react. You respond, and only when necessary. This makes others more careful with their words and behavior around you. Silence also makes your actual words more valuable. When you speak rarely, people listen more closely. When you choose your words with intention instead of emotion, people take you seriously. They respect your voice because you don't use it carelessly. You are not someone who talks just to fill space. You speak because you mean something. That makes every sentence stronger. But silence is not just a tool for communication. It is also a shield for your peace. You don't need to respond to every rumor, argument, insult, or opinion. You don't have to join every discussion or defend yourself every moment. Sometimes the strongest response is no response. Silence keeps you centered and calm while others exhaust themselves with noise. Remember, noise often comes from insecurity while silence comes from confidence. Noise tries to demand attention while silence naturally earns it. You do not need to shout to be heard. You only need to be the person whose silence has weight. That is real power. Law 3. What you walk away from defines you. Everyone talks about dreams, goals, and what they want to achieve in life. People speak about success, about their plans, and about where they want to go. But very few talk about the most important part of personal power: what you refuse to accept. In reverse psychology, your strength is not only in what you pursue but also in what you are willing to walk away from. What you choose to leave behind shapes your value. When you stay in situations that break you, when you tolerate disrespect, when you accept behavior that harms your peace, you silently give away your power. But when you walk away with calm confidence, everything changes. You shift the dynamic without needing to argue or explain. You show that you are not afraid to lose anything that does not respect your worth. Walking away is often misunderstood. Many people think that leaving means running away, quitting, or showing weakness. But in reality, walking away is one of the strongest moves a person can make. It means you respect yourself enough to not tolerate what damages your mind or heart. It means you understand that your peace matters more than anyone's approval. It means you are strong enough to let go of situations that keep you small. Walking away is not losing. It is choosing yourself silently and powerfully. It is saying, I know who I am, and this environment does not match my value. The interesting thing is this. People notice when you leave. They may ignore your presence, but they will always feel your absence. Your silence becomes a mirror. It forces them to look at their own behavior. They start thinking about how they treated you. They begin to realize what they lost. And that is why walking away is one of the strongest tools in reverse psychology. It makes others understand your value without you saying a single word. Walking away also resets your standards. It teaches people how to treat you in the future. It sends a message that you cannot be controlled by guilt, manipulation, fear, or emotional pressure. You are not afraid to detach from anything that does not align with your growth. And once people know you are willing to walk away, they treat you with more respect. They understand you are not someone who will stay in a bad situation just to feel accepted. Here is the deeper truth. The person who can walk away is truly free. You become untouchable because no one can use fear against you. Not fear of being alone, not fear of rejection, not fear of judgment. Once you choose yourself, life begins to open new doors. Better people enter. Healthier environments appear. Opportunities that match your worth start coming toward you. Because when you remove what is wrong, you make space for what is right. The world respects a person who knows when to walk away. And you should learn to respect yourself. In the same way, law for people want what they can't have. Human nature is complex, but one pattern stays the same in every culture and every generation. People desire what is difficult to get. We value the rare, the mysterious, and the challenging. When something is easily available, it loses meaning in our minds. This is why people ignore those who offer too much too quickly. This is why people take for granted the ones who try too hard to be liked. The human mind is not built to appreciate what comes without effort. It is built to chase, to conquer, and to desire the things that require patience or work. When something feels too comfortable, too predictable, or too easy, our attention naturally fades. This law becomes extremely powerful when you understand how it shapes behavior. If you want others to value you, you cannot make yourself available 24/7. You must create a healthy distance. Not coldness, not arrogance, but controlled availability. Your time must be chosen carefully. Your attention should not be something people receive just because they want it. Your energy should be treated like a valuable resource, not something anyone can use whenever they please. When you adjust how accessible you are, people adjust how they treat you. The moment you become slightly harder to reach, people begin to try harder. When you stop responding instantly to everything, people start valuing your responses. When you stop giving constant attention, your absence becomes noticeable. And when you stop offering everything without limits, people finally appreciate what you offer. This shift happens naturally because scarcity increases value. When something feels rare, people protect it more. When something feels limited, people treasure it more. This law plays out in every area of life. Friendships, dating, workplace dynamics, family relationships, social media presence, reputation, and even business. People pursue what challenges them. They respect what requires effort. They value what is not freely accessible. That is why leaders who speak less are respected more. That is why individuals who protect their boundaries are treated more carefully. That is why creators who do not beg for attention often gain more followers. But this law is not about manipulation or mind games. It is about recognizing your own value. It is about understanding that your attention, time, emotions, and presence should not be given away without thought. It is about creating a life where you are present but not predictable, caring but not desperate, kind but not endlessly available. You must keep some mystery, some independence, and some healthy distance. The truth is simple. When you stop giving yourself too easily, people finally realize how valuable you truly are. Law 5. Confidence comes from detachment. True confidence is not loud and it does not need to prove anything. It is not ego showing off or trying to look strong. Real confidence is quiet because it comes from detachment. Detachment means you stay calm no matter what happens. You stay centered even when someone tries to upset you. You stay steady even when life becomes uncertain. When you are detached, you do not get shaken easily by words, opinions, or situations. You become someone who cannot be controlled, and that makes you powerful in a very natural way. Detachment does not mean you don't care about people or life. It does not mean you become cold or emotionless. It simply means you don't cling to anyone or anything so tightly that you lose yourself. You don't panic when something goes wrong. You don't chase approval. You don't fear losing people. Instead, you know that your happiness comes from inside, not from outside. And this mindset makes you calm. People feel that calmness. They sense stability in you and they respect it immediately. Most people react emotionally to everything. Someone says something rude and they explode. Someone ignores them and they feel insecure. Someone gets more attention and they become jealous. But a detached person does not react like that. They breathe. They observe. They think, then they respond with clarity. This ability to choose your reactions instead of being controlled by them is the heart of confidence. It shows you have mastery over yourself, and that is more powerful than any loud display of strength. Detachment also protects your peace. You don't dive into drama. You don't waste time arguing. You don't carry other people's problems on your shoulders. You save your energy for what truly matters. This makes your presence feel strong and focused. When you walk into a room, people sense that you do not need anything from them. That independence is attractive. People naturally respect the person who is not desperate for validation. In relationships, detachment removes fear. You don't worry, what if they leave me? Instead, you tell yourself, if they leave, it means they were not meant for me. This simple shift gives you freedom. It stops overthinking. It stops insecurity. It stops the pressure. You become someone who can love deeply but still stand strong alone. And that is real emotional strength in life. Detachment gives you control because nothing owns you. Not failure. Not success. Not opinions. Not expectations. You stay balanced. You stay grounded. You stay clear. And a person with a free mind cannot be defeated. Law 6. If you want respect, stop explaining. People often lose respect without realizing it. It happens when they explain too much. When you constantly justify your decisions, defend your actions, or try to make everyone understand your choices, it can make you look insecure. Over-explaining signals that you are seeking approval, that you are uncertain, or that you are dependent on others' opinions. Secure and confident people rarely feel the need to over-explain. They say what they mean and then they stand firm in their choices. That quiet confidence makes their words and presence much stronger. When you explain everything, it weakens your authority. It gives others the sense that they can question you, doubt your judgment, and even push your boundaries. But the moment you stop trying to justify yourself constantly, your words gain weight. Your decisions feel more solid. Your presence becomes more serious. People listen more carefully when you speak because they understand you are not seeking approval or validation. Silence and decisiveness communicate confidence better than 1,000 explanations ever could. There is a simple but important truth here. You teach people how to treat you by how much you feel the need to explain yourself. If you always allow others to question your choices, they will do it again and again. If you allow them to challenge your standards, they will challenge them repeatedly. If you allow them to push your boundaries, they will continue pushing. Explaining everything gives others control over how they perceive you. But when you stop, you take that control back. You reclaim your power quietly but firmly. You don't need to justify your priorities, your boundaries, your goals, your lifestyle, your silence, your decisions, or your standards. If your actions make sense to you, that is enough. If your choices protect your peace, that is enough. If what you do supports your growth, that is enough. Others are free to think whatever they want, assume whatever they want, or talk behind your back. But it does not change your value or your path. The moment you stop trying to be understood by everyone, something powerful happens. You stop giving away your energy to those who do not deserve it. You stop letting people measure your worth based on their opinions. You stop bending yourself to fit expectations that are not yours. You take back your power silently and confidently. And from that moment, the respect you receive is real. Respect is never earned by explanation. It is earned by self-assurance, boundaries, and integrity. Law 7. Pull back to pull them. In human relationships, follow a simple unspoken rhythm. When you push too hard, people pull away. When you give too much, people take for granted what you offer. When you chase, they run. This is a natural part of human psychology. But the opposite is also true. When you step back even just a little, people notice. They feel the space you create. That absence, that distance draws their attention. They begin to step forward. They begin to try harder. They begin to value your presence again. This is the principle behind the law. Sometimes pulling back is the fastest way to pull someone closer. Pulling back does not mean manipulation. It does not mean playing games or acting cold. It is about recalibration. It is about restoring balance to the energy between people. When someone is too dependent on your attention or takes your effort for granted, pulling back resets the dynamic. It creates space for reflection. It gives others room to notice what they may have overlooked. It reminds them that your presence is a choice, not a given. And humans naturally respond to change. When you become slightly less available, people instinctively step up. There are many ways to pull back without being harsh or rude. You can be less immediately available. You can reply a little slower instead of rushing to respond. You can give slightly less energy while maintaining respect. You can let others initiate conversations or actions. You can embrace silence rather than reacting to every situation. And you can always choose peace over unnecessary reaction. Each of these small steps creates a subtle shift that signals value, stability, and self-respect. This law creates what feels like gravity. It pulls people toward you rather than pushing them away. It reminds them that your attention and energy are not endless, they are precious. It increases attraction naturally because people are drawn to what is meaningful, not what is guaranteed. When you pull back thoughtfully, your presence regains weight. People no longer take you for granted. They notice the care, the attention, and the balance you bring. However, it is crucial to understand why you pull back. This law only works when your reasons are healthy. Not anger, not ego, not games. You pull back because you respect yourself. You pull back because balance is needed. You pull back because you deserve equal effort. When this intention is clear, the energy between you and others resets. The connection becomes healthier, stronger, and more respectful. And that is the true power of pulling back. It draws people closer while keeping your dignity intact. Law 8. Reverse your emotions, control your life. Reverse psychology is not only a tool to influence others, it is also one of the most powerful ways to influence yourself. Your emotions are either your strongest ally or your biggest obstacle. Most people live as if their feelings control them. They react instantly to anger, fear, jealousy, or insecurity. They let impatience drive decisions and Let worry dictate actions. But when you learn to reverse your emotional reactions, you gain control over your life. You stop being a slave to circumstances and start becoming the master of your experience. Instead of responding with anger, you respond with calm. Instead of reacting with fear, you respond with curiosity. Instead of giving into insecurity, you respond with self-belief. Instead of succumbing to jealousy, you respond with self-improvement. Instead of letting impatience take over, you respond with discipline. Each reversed reaction rewires your mind, strengthens your character, and makes you less predictable. When people cannot anticipate your reactions, they cannot control you. When you act with intention rather than emotion, your presence becomes stronger, steadier, and more respected. Most people spend their energy fighting battles that do not matter. They argue over opinions, chase approval, and react to situations that are beyond their control. But reversing your emotions stops all of that. It allows you to conserve energy for what truly matters. When you respond with calm instead of anger, you avoid unnecessary conflict. When you respond with curiosity instead of fear, you turn challenges into opportunities. When you respond with self-belief instead of insecurity, you focus on growth rather than comparison. And when you respond with discipline instead of impatience, you create results that others cannot match. Reversing your emotions is a superpower because it changes the way you experience life. You stop fighting small battles that drain your energy. You stop caring about opinions that do not serve you. You stop chasing validation that does not matter. You stop making decisions based on fear, frustration, or impatience. Instead, you live with clarity, confidence, and control. Your actions become deliberate, your mind becomes unshakable, and your presence becomes magnetic because people sense that you are guided by reason, not reaction. The moment you master your emotional responses, you gain freedom. Freedom from chaos, freedom from manipulation, and freedom from unnecessary stress. Life no longer pulls you in every direction. You move forward with purpose, confidence, and strength. By reversing your emotions, you do not just survive life, you control it. You become someone who others notice not because you push, but because you rise above calmly and intentionally. Law 9: give people freedom and they return. One of the most surprising truths about relationships, whether personal, professional, or social, is that control pushes people away. The more you try to force someone to act a certain way, the more they resist. The more you pressure them to pay attention, behave properly, or meet your expectations, the more they pull back. It is human nature. People instinctively move away from restrictions. But the opposite is equally true. When you give people freedom, they feel safe. They feel understood. They feel respected. And when they feel this way, they naturally return to you. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Freedom is not about neglect or ignoring people. It is about creating a space where they can breathe, think, and act without pressure. It is about letting people have their own time and space. It is about not demanding constant attention or checking on them every moment. It is about accepting that others have their own emotions, decisions, and pace. It is about not forcing them to behave according to your standards or trying to control their thoughts. Freedom means you trust them and give them room to be themselves. When people feel this freedom, they relax around you. Your presence becomes peaceful, not stressful. This law is one of the most effective tools of reverse psychology because it works against the natural expectations people have. Most people expect pressure, rules, and control. When they instead feel patience, trust, and space, they are drawn in. They notice your calm confidence, your understanding, and your maturity. They begin to trust you more deeply. They become loyal not out of obligation, but because they appreciate how you treat them. They stay not because you Demand it, but because they feel respected and safe in your presence. The power of giving freedom is that it strengthens relationships in a way control never can. When you let go of the urge to micromanage or manipulate, you create a bond that is based on respect, not fear. You create a connection that is genuine, peaceful, and lasting. People do not leave when they feel trusted. They do not rebel when they feel respected. And they do not take you for granted when they see that your attention and care are freely given, not forced. The simple truth is this: people stay where they are free, understood, and respected. They return to those who create space, rather than pressure. They return to those whose presence feels like calm rather than obligation. By giving freedom, you do not lose control. You gain influence, trust, and loyalty. You create relationships that thrive naturally because they are chosen, not coerced. Freedom is not weakness. It is the strongest form of respect, and it is the most powerful form of reverse psychology. Law 10. Your reaction teaches people how to treat you. People often think respect comes from what they say, but the truth is respect comes from how they react. Words alone have little power if your actions and reactions do not match them. People observe how you respond to situations, how you handle challenges, and how you manage disrespect. If someone treats you poorly and you laugh it off, they will see it as permission to do it again. If someone ignores you and you chase them, they will feel even more in control. If someone takes advantage of you and you stay silent, they will continue, knowing there are no consequences. Your reactions are the real signal of your value, and they teach people how to treat you. Learning to control your reactions is one of the most powerful forms of reverse psychology. When someone tries to provoke you, you do not have to respond with anger. Anger makes you predictable and gives others control over your emotions. Instead, respond with calm. Calmness communicates strength and self-possession. When someone tests your boundaries, you do not need to react with fear or anxiety. React with clear boundaries instead. Boundaries communicate self-respect, and they show others that you cannot be pushed around. When someone expects a weak reaction, do not give it. Silence is far more powerful than words when used intentionally. Silence communicates control, wisdom, and inner strength. Your reaction should always come from a place of confidence, not desperation. When someone underestimates you, your reaction should show composure, not over-explanation. When someone challenges you unfairly, your reaction should show decisiveness, not defensiveness. Every time you respond with self-control, you subtly increase your value in the eyes of others. People begin to realize that you cannot be manipulated, ignored, or controlled. They begin to respect your presence, your time, and your energy. They understand that your worth is non-negotiable and that it is reflected not in what you say but in what you allow to happen around you. The key principle is simple. People treat you based on your reactions, not your words. If you want respect, practice restraint. If you want influence, practice calm. If you want loyalty, practice boundaries. Your life, your relationships, and your environment are shaped by how you respond. Every controlled reaction teaches others that you are strong, confident, and untouchable. By mastering this law, you do not just defend yourself. You command respect effortlessly, and your value naturally increases with every situation you handle wisely. Law 11. Let them think they know you. The final law of reverse psychology is subtle, yet it is one of the most powerful. Most people feel the need to explain themselves, clarify their actions, or correct misunderstandings. They want everyone to fully understand who they are, what they are thinking, and what they plan to do. But the truth is, revealing too much takes away your power. When you stop correcting people's assumptions, you allow them to think they know you. Let them believe they understand your thoughts, your limits, and your next steps. Let them assume they have figured you out. Why does this work? Because when people think they know you, they relax. They stop guarding themselves. They stop trying to test you constantly. They lower their defenses and reveal their true intentions. Their real character begins to show, and you get to observe without interference. You remain in control while others expose themselves. You can act strategically, plan quietly, and evolve while they remain focused on what they believe they already understand. This silent advantage is the essence of reverse psychology. It allows you to gain insight, influence, and strength without confrontation. Never reveal everything about yourself. Keep certain aspects hidden. Keep your next move private. Keep your goals, your progress, and your personal growth to yourself. Mystery is a form of power. Predictability diminishes it. When people can predict your every move, they can control your environment, manipulate situations, and take advantage of your patterns. But when you remain a little unpredictable, a little mysterious, you stay one step ahead. Your presence becomes intriguing, your actions become impactful, and your growth becomes unstoppable. Let others assume. Let them think they understand your decisions, your intentions, and even your limitations. While they form their assumptions, you continue to improve, continue to evolve, and continue to grow in silence. Every day you move forward while others believe they have you figured out. You stay calm while they speculate. You stay focused while they guess. You stay powerful while they underestimate your potential. This law teaches one fundamental principle. Control is often quiet, subtle, and unseen. You do not need to announce your moves, justify your actions, or reveal your mind to maintain influence. You simply allow people to believe they understand you while you quietly become stronger than they imagined. Mystery is your shield. Assumption is your advantage. And silence is your power. By letting them think they know, you create a life where growth, strategy, and strength happen naturally, and you always remain ahead. Conclusion: become the person who doesn't need tricks. Reverse psychology is not about manipulation or deceit. It is about understanding human behavior, understanding the natural responses people have, and using that knowledge to create balance and respect in your life. It is about knowing when to give and when to hold back, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to engage and when to walk away. It is about mastering yourself first so that your influence comes naturally rather than being forced. The 11 laws we explored: laws of need, silence, walking away, scarcity, detachment, boundaries, pulling back, emotional control, freedom, reactions, and mystery are tools to help you stay strong, calm, and in control. When applied with integrity and wisdom, they do not manipulate others, but instead teach them to treat you with respect, trust, and value. These principles can strengthen relationships, build confidence, and shape a life where you are the center of your own power. As I share these insights on English Achieve, remember this truth. The ultimate goal is not to play tricks on people. The ultimate goal is to become so strong inside that you no longer need reverse psychology. Your presence alone, your calm, your confidence, and your inner strength become enough. When that happens, influence comes naturally. Respect is automatic, and your life flows with clarity and purpose. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more such videos. Thanks for watching.